I recently had the chance to catch up with Eddie Redmayne on his new project, The Day of the Jackal. He is so good in this new series. Take a look.
His code name's Jackal. He's a mimic. Somebody's hiring the Jackal for another kill. What do you do?
If I told you the truth, then I'll lose you.
That's a look at The Day of the Jackal. It's a modern twist on the classic novel about a legendary assassin who makes his living by carrying out hits for the highest fee. For more, I'm joined by the star of the series, Academy Award winner Eddie Redmayne. Eddie, welcome to the morning show. You are just phenomenal in this series. But I got to ask, how do you play such a ruthless killer and yet play a character that we still kind of root for?
Well, thanks for saying that, because one of the things that instantly compelled me to The Day of the Jackal when I read these scripts was the naughtiness of these characters. You have the Jackal and you have Bianca, who Lashana Lynch plays, both of whom are passionate, incredibly meticulous, borderline obsessive, talented at what they do, but they both have deeply dubious morals. And yet you kind of know these two figures are on this cat and mouse chase and on a one-way path to collision. And hopefully one of the things I found kind of structurally intriguing is you oscillate in your affections for them despite the horrors of what they're doing. And I don't know, there was something in that moral grey area that made me want to keep reading. I found it really propulsive. And so if we've managed to accomplish that, the audience's affections kind of jump between these two characters, then I'm thrilled.
That's totally it. I'm rooting for both of you at the same time, which is honestly really exciting as a viewer. You've said that this role is an actor's dream. I mean, from the prosthetics, the disguises, the different languages. How much do you love being challenged like this?
Oh, I love a challenge. I feel like I do my most interesting work when I'm sort of uncomfortable, and certainly this character, one of the things that I think intrigued me when I saw the original movie when I was young is he kind of is an actor. He shapeshifts, he changes languages, he changes physicalities, and all of those things are kind of why I got into what I do. But definitely there were moments when I was having to speak languages that I don't speak at all and learn them kind of phonetically and musically, it felt so odd to be filming something in which you can't speak a word of the language, but you've learnt something by rote. But it was kind of fun.
I mean, I can only imagine. What was your reaction when you first saw yourself disguised as a 65-year-old janitor in that first episode? Because I actually had to text my producer and confirm that that was you.
Oh, good. The process of getting transformed into this janitor, the truth is that it wasn't a kind of ta-da moment. It was weeks of work, from discussions with Richard, our prosthetics artist, as to what he should look like, finding images on the internet, to sculpting those up, to then putting that on and realizing that the body shape needed to change. So we would sculpt a body shape. The character began to emerge. But what was weird was at the end of the day when you took off all your clothes and it was my body with this sort of much elder face in which I couldn't relate the two things. It was quite strange. I took some weird photos.
That's amazing. I mean, listen, you definitely pulled it off. We obviously loved you as Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything, but it's interesting because this is now the second time we've seen you play a killer after The Good Nurse. So the question is, do you prefer playing a good guy or a bad guy?
Well, my kids are desperate for me to play a good guy again, and since they've been sort of old enough to kind of get a sense of what I do. I did the film The Good Nurse, and which for those who haven't seen it, is about potentially the most prolific serial killer in America, a guy called Charlie Cullen, and my family for a long time thought I was the good nurse. My kids thought I was the good nurse of the title, only to realise much later that that was Jessica Chastain's character, and I was in fact a pretty horrific human being. And then on The Day of the Jackal, they're also deeply distressed to hear I'm playing a baddie again, and I sort of try to point them to Newt Scamander, but they're a bit they're like, Dad, that was a while ago. Can't you just play a goodie? But I think actually, truth be told, it was Brian Kirk, our director, seeing The Good Nurse that made my name come up in the conversation for this. So yeah, I'm having a sort of baddie phase.
Listen, we're here for your baddie phase. It's so great because 1 minute you're so intense, and then you can play such a lovable character like Newt Scamander, and we fall in love with you all over again. Listen, congratulations on this series. So nice getting to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
The Day of the Jackal premieres tonight at 9 p.m. on Showcase and Stack TV.